And good evening. Welcome to Mike at Night. The night is Thursday, and tonight is the final night for 2022 that we'll be having on Mike at Night. And let me tell you, I want to thank all of you all who have been with me for the entire year that we've been doing this Mike at Night. I want to really appreciate you logging on from time to time. And there are some who have logged on almost, I think, every single night that we've been on. Really loyal followers. I really appreciate that. I want to encourage you tonight to share the live as we are on the last night. One of the things that I want people to do is to share on the Facebook. Sorry. Let me just get rid of that. To share on the Facebook the your own thoughts about the program, what you felt about the program, and also to call in at our 688 number. You call it at 868-688-5363. That is 868-688-5363. You can call in on WhatsApp and just share how you felt of the program, those that the program that you have listened to, which program that you remember that probably may have impacted you more than others. Just share with us. We would love to hear from you, right? And if you have any ideas for 2023 topics, etc., changes in the program, then we want you to share that also. All right. Alice John, good evening. Good to see you. Lynette York, good evening. Share the live, invite your friends to come on so that they'll be part of the program this evening. As we said, it's the final for 2022. And tonight we're talking about situationship. We're going to talk about that, but I want to open up the line so people to share their own ideas about what they think about the program, what they think about how it has been going, what are the topics that you recall that impact you, and what are some of the topics for next year that you want to suggest, or new formatting that you want to propose. Not that we're going to take any or all, but certainly we love to hear them to consider having to take them. Okay, so let's go pay some bills and we come right back. In the meanwhile, call somebody and tell them Mike at Night is on live and alive. Good evening to you now.
Don't let the weather of the day dictate your pace. I stayed cool every time I got into my vehicle, and you can too. At Tow School Center of 31 Gaskin Bay Road, Bonaccord, they specialize in auto air conditioning with parts and services catering to your car's needs. Call and ask for tows at 660-8777 or 788-3535. Tow School Center, where a comfortable ride is a cool ride.
Hey, if you are having difficulty in your marriage or in your relationship and you need someone to speak with privately and confidentially, then call me, Michael Stewart. We can do face-to-face or virtually any part of the world. If your relationship is worth saving, call 868-688-5363 or go to my website www.michaeletstewart.com. Don't wait until it's too late. Get counseling. All right, nicely. Let me tell you, I know that a number of people have so many events that they are going to tonight. One person just messaged me, say they're off to a gala event in a hotel. I can imagine people have so many things doing. Yes, but those of you who joined us, Lynette York, good evening to you, Patsy Greg. Nice having you all on. You have been a great support and a great encouragement to me. All right, so let's get going. One of the things that I want to share with you all is this topic of situationship. Situationship is similar to friends with benefit. And I think that more or less what we keep trying to do is we come up with a name of an inappropriate relationship. And then we don't like the name, so we modify the name to make it more palatable, more acceptable. So friends with benefit, that really sounds as though you're really using a friend and so on. So we say, okay, let's call it situationship, practically. But it is becoming popular. So this situationship is where people are not in a committed relationship. They are in a relationship that maybe have sexual involvement with the persons in particular. There is some measure of um, romance that's taking place, but they don't have a committed relationship. They don't have a formal relationship. So why somebody would want to do that, I have no idea. I have no idea why somebody would want to just have sex with somebody that you really don't feel attached to, that all they are supplying to you is that sexual satisfaction. Have we really belittled sex to just that? That you can afford to give your heart? Well, let's not say your heart, because situationship is you're not supposed to get your heart involved. That's one of the rules of situationship. You are not supposed to fall in love. You are supposed to do it just as a business. You feel horny tonight, I feel horny tonight. Hey, come over. Let's have sex. And when we're done, you go your way. You can date other people. You can frolic with other people. Just when I want sex, you just come in. No, I'm not too sure animals do much higher than that, you know. I have my personal belief that there must be some more mature, civil, humanly method to interact with each other than just saying that this is what we're going to situationship. So let me explain what that situationship is so that you know the definitions. Situationship is that you're in a romantic relationship and or a sexual relationship with somebody, but this person is not in a relationship with you. There is no way that you all are in this in any committed way. It is just purely a friendship that involves romance and sex. That's where it stands. But there's no boundaries. You have no lean, no weight, no say in the other person's life. That person has no say in your life. They come and go as they like. They can live whatever life they like. They can have other relationships. They can have steady, committed relationship. You're just in. Joanne Benjamin. Hey, Joanne. Good to see you. Ah, Joanne says she come out of the dinner to hear me, man. Joanne, thank you very much. Much obliged. Thank you very much for doing that, because I know plenty of people during this season, they are going to so many different functions. All right. So the relationship is purely on that premise. Now, let's see what has been the reality on the ground. Hinge, 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 which is a dating app. They put this app out to facilitate people who are looking to date. And Hinge has said they predict the death of situationship. Why did they say so? Because Hinge said 62% of those people who are on their app, who are in these casual relationships, have reported disappointment and depression. But you didn't need Hinge to say that. After you withhold your emotion and you give your body to somebody repeatedly over a period of time, do you really know where your heart is after a time? Could you really find love after you have numbed your system to sensitivity and love? You have programmed yourself not to feel emotional to somebody. You really think that you will be able to engage in a loving relationship after that? So they say 62% of the people, that's more than half. say that this thing, I'm disappointed in it. It does not work. It has me depressed, and here's why some people claim to be depressed. And you can go on Google and you look at somebody, even though some people are trying to promote it as a viable option. But here's one. People get into it, you must have rules. And the rule is you must never give your heart in. Give the most intimate body parts, but not your heart. Doesn't make sense, but that's what this. Have sex, you can fuddle, you can give blowjobs, you do what it is, but don't fall in love with the person. Oh, if you are enjoying great sex with somebody repeatedly, you think you could really watch them leave tonight and see? I think I'm going tonight. I have a next woman down the road. They're going and have the same relationship going. Because remember now, you don't have a responsibility on this. I'm going down the road and see if I find this next woman or this next man. Well, as to the men, so is one thing for a man to tell a woman, I'm going down the road to meet a next woman. But how many of men out there will be in a situationship with a woman, enjoying sex with her, and she gets up and says, tomorrow night you wouldn't see me here because of a next man that are going and we going and have sex. We're not in a relationship, it's just a situation. How many men could sit down and stomach that? All of all out there. Madness. And we keep getting madder and madderer. I invent those words. In the way how we define relationships. No wonder that people can't seem to be able to settle down in anything that is serious. And we can't enjoy in its full essence a relationship. So the people who have tried it have said this. One is that sometimes one of the two people who got into this non-committal relationship, one tends to get feelings and become attached in the relationship and want the circumstances to change from a situationship to a relationship. But the other one doesn't, because the other one is living free. The other one is able to go out and come as they like and not have any commitment at all. But now you are wanting to tie them down and now restrict all of that freedom. So that's one of the problems with it. Good night, Carolyn. Good evening to Deanne Robinson, Sapphire Potts, McCool. Good evening to you. Yep. Good evening to all of y'all. Makini John. Blessed evening to you. Yes, sir. So I don't know why is it people promoting it. And I know that there are some people who start off saying, it works and it takes the pressure off of relationship. That's what they say. Takes the pressure off of relationship. It replaces that pressure with something else. It replaces it with feeling used. Because one of the things that people said in relationships, particularly let's take it from the woman's standpoint, when she feels that a man is just with her for her body, she has often said she feels used. She's not a sex machine. Now, we're actually formalizing it, this sex machine mentality, and use, abuse, and refuse concept. That's why I call it mad. It just can't work. So Hinge that did this research and found out that they listen, this is what people are engaging in, and this is what people have said works. Hinge says we run the app, and 62% of the people are disappointed, depressed. Although people said upfront they would not let their heart be involved, they often do. And they often put boundaries on the other person. and often want to call to find out how they're doing. And part of the thing is, don't call to find out how I'm doing. I'm not in a relationship with you. Just sex. You only call when you want sex. Don't expect me to call you either. That's what the arrangement is. Yeah. Good evening, Candice. So, though you have, and let me tell you, Hinge says 49% of the persons who are members of their site have their status as situation. Look it out. Like one short of 50. Half of these people are in a situation. What does that spell for stability of relationships? What does that spell for commitment in relationship? What does that spell for the future of a stable family relationship developing? When 50% of people are in situation where they are not in a serious relationship, no man. Wilma Hamlet, good evening. Good evening to you. I tell you all, you all need to share the line. Somebody has to bring this horse back on course because it's a runaway horse. We're getting worse and worse when we're dealing with this. I'm not too sure. One of the greatest cement in a relationship is this thing that we call trust. And I don't see how situationship, friends with benefit, emulates, promote trust in any. You walk out by the person 4 o'clock in the morning out of somebody else's house. You have no idea which house. You will trust the person. Oh, it has nothing to do with trust because you're not in a relationship with them. But do you trust that they're not bringing a disease to you? You really trust that? Oh, we always use condom. We always use protection. But does the person use it with the next person? Yeah. Do you know if they're actually using it with somebody else? You have no idea. You know what the Jamaicans would call these people who support this thing? Half idiot. You're not a full idiot. You're a half idiot. Probably because you don't qualify to even be called an idiot for the next half. Now I know that some people would not agree with me. With the last program anyway, so it would take them a while before they could call back and tell me, Mr. Stroud, I didn't agree with you. It's till next year I'll have to call me back and tell me, but I tell you no, no, we have to be a bit serious. All right, so here's what I want to do. I want to encourage you to call or share with me. We also have the poll that is going to be up that you would find, and we ask you your opinion on this thing called situation. And while you're on their Facebook, just share with me so that I could read out for the listeners. Do you agree with this thing called situationship? Do you think it can work? I tell you my part, I tell you your part, but that doesn't mean that you have to go along with what I say. You just need to share with me your candid view on it. Do you agree with this concept of situationship? And you tell me, you give me some information on it as to why you figure can work in relation. If you think it can. If you think it can, then also let me know that too. Okay? Situationship. Remember, for those of you who just joined us, situationship is when you are in a relationship with somebody and you are in a romantic and sexual relationship, but you are not committed. That is all the person has. And some people say it's not a stranger, it's a friend. Somebody I know, somebody I care for as a friend. Person has. Do you believe that situationship is a better option than a formal relationship? Yes, no, or not sure. Those are the three options that you have, right? The poll is up for you to look at. All right, good. All right, so you tell me your opinion, please. Just put it on the Facebook. Let me read it out. Rosemond Robertson, I think it is. Yeah, I do not agree. Why don't you agree with it, Rosemond? Share with me. Thank you for answering. Why don't you agree? And anybody else? And if you want to call, call the number that you see on the screen, 868-688-5363. It's on the screen. It is WhatsApp. I would love to hear from you for you to give your views on it, or if you have a question on it, right? And then sometime along the program, I want you to give me your own feedback, seeing that this is the last program. What you thought of the program so far, in the ones that you've listened to, which topic that you recall, and what do you suggest be a topic for next year, or if you want to recommend any changes for next. All right, so give me your feedback as to the situationship. Do you agree with it, yes or no? And just share with me why. I'd be interested to know why. I appreciate Rosamond sharing that she does not agree. If we could just figure out why. Lyndon said he doesn't agree with it. Mm-hmm. Right? I wonder who would agree with this more, whether it's men or women would agree to a situationship where you have a relationship that you're just sex and nothing else. I don't have to give you no money. I don't have to mind you. I don't have to take on with you and your problems and your issues. I am gone after that. Once we did that, chickity, chickity, bang, bang, thank you, madam. Catch you next time. Yeah. Men or women? Charmin said men would subscribe to that lifestyle more than women. Glendalin said there is a song goes that way. If I give you what you want, would you remember me tomorrow? That is not a good thing. All right, Glenda. I say, I think I remember that song in true. That's supposed to be a nice one of those classical. All right. Well, not a classical, but a classic. Elon say it's cheaper. Yeah, it is cheaper. And it is cheaper, and it gives you a chance to get all that you may want physically in that stand with no obligation to the person you get it from. Kathleen says, I don't agree. When I give my heart, I give you my soul too. All right. Yep. Some people have had their hearts broken so often. As you know, some of you know that I do counseling. So I've heard people say that, they got their heart broken by somebody that they're in a relationship with. And they say they are going to break other people's heart just like their heart was broken. So they will go in a relationship with somebody else, even though they know that person in the relationship, they will not have any feelings, and they will go in there, have sex, and walk out on the person. Mm-hmm. Lyndon said, if and when a child comes into play, what will that child be? A situation child. That's deep. I didn't go that far in my processing. But yes, you could have a child coming out of some of these. And if it was somebody that you did not have feelings for, how much love could you have for the child? And would the child not remind you of this person that you were not in a relationship? All right. All right. 868-688-5363. People, just share with us. What do you think about a situationship? Do you agree with it or not? 62% of persons hinge the dating app says are disappointed in situationship. They start off all gung ho saying, yes, I wouldn't have no responsibilities and I'm going to get my satisfaction. But then after it runs for a little while, it has no longevity. The relationship of situationship of being in it for sex, you begin to feel used. You of yourself begin to lose your self esteem. Your sense of self worth dissipates, and you can't bathe and wash it all away. It stays with you. You become numb emotionally because you no longer can find your heart. Your heart of love is now hardened, seared. You have hidden and restricted that love from activating for so long that you can no longer find love. Darwin said some will abort and will bring forth the child and use it as a pawn. Oh yes, to exact money out of some. That's right. Yeah. That's that's the reality. That's the reality of it, people. Um so I think what we need to try and help people to do, eh? Good evening, Wendy. Thanks for joining us. Is help people to access their heart of love. But in order for you to access that heart that is, you've got to be vulnerable, a word that many are afraid of. Vulnerability means I'm exposing the soft side of a lot of people can't handle exposing that soft side of them because they've been hurt so often in the past. But some of the reasons I believe that people have been hurt so often in the past is because we have not done a good job at selecting the people we're going to expose our hearts to. Soon as we start feeling nice about somebody or somebody has shown some attention to us, we just feel as though we just to give them. And some of the things and the characters that will come up against, you could tell the guy is not serious. You could tell the girl is not serious. And I'm asking myself, what in the name of Hades is this person doing getting into this relationship? The person is handsome, the woman is beautiful, but they have nothing in their head. You could tell. You can work that out. They have nothing to bring to the table. They have, I've known a gentleman, he has a good job. Good job. And this girl who is beautiful but has no ambition. You're a top senior man and you get into a situationship with this girl. Right? You had planned that this is only between both of you after hours. But you know what happened? The girl got feelings because he has money, he has position, she doesn't. All she has is a beautiful body. So she wanted more out of it. Started to stalk him, started to come on his job, started to cause his job to ask questions. So what's going on? Because they know he's married and all of that. And so on. He went from one stage to the next, to the next, to the next. The situationship became a really big battleship. It was a battleship. Job was now threatened and so much is now to lose because of that. Was that really? They not say the one behind the physical attribute. Kimberly, good evening to you. Yeah, nice having you all. Hey, even though I say that so many people in functions, I'm glad to see so many of you all out tonight. Thank you all very much for joining in. Yeah, so the situation that does not lend itself for longevity. It lends itself, and let me tell you, so many people are suffering from mental illness, unstable emotions. Situationship, I believe, promotes an unstable emotion because you have to now deny your emotion to give your body to somebody just merely because it is turned on biologically. It has nothing to do. Usually, you are really engaged, you were designed to engage in population because you are drawn towards a person. You feel almost to become one with somebody. That was its original, God's original. But now you are telling yourself, let's not allow ourselves or heart to be involved. Let's just join ourselves physically to the person only. Now, after a while, that must have its mental issue to encounter when you pass through three, four people. Kathleen said some female get into such relationship for money and some men go for lust. Well, true. Because it's a fair exchange that the people call. You want money, he has it. He wants a female body, he doesn't have it, and you have it. So it's it's a fair exchange. That's business. Now, if it's a business, that's a business. But if it's a relationship, children are to be born out of relationships of love. You know of parents who either have been raped or have been abused or have made a child for somebody that they didn't like, and just seeing the child reminds them of this person that they did not like or that was or had raped them or whatever it is. That's a mental stress that person has to go through, and sometimes they take it out on the very children. Good evening, Doreen. Nice having you. Yeah. Okay. So, situationship, and let me just remind those who just joined us. Situationship is being in a relationship with somebody romantically and sexually, but no commitment. That's all it is. You can continue to have that relationship with as many people as you want with the full knowledge of the person. Or without their knowledge, it doesn't bother because they are not supposed to get into your private life. So you could have sex with them tonight and they could schedule somebody else for tomorrow and say, listen, I can't come. So you need to get somebody else to supply you with sex tomorrow because this Christmas weekend, I have a couple of women to supply. I have a couple of men that I'm going to be with. And you can't say no, you can't give because you have no obligation towards them. You have no control, you have no demands on the other person. And that's why I say that have to be mad people. And you have to have more people outside mad than those supposed to be. And Hin said 62% of the people on their dating have declared that they are disappointed. They have death of situation. It's going to come to an end, Hin says. It's not going to last. It just doesn't work. How are you going into a relationship when you're ready to settle down? And you're really ready to get into a marital relationship? That person doesn't want used goods because that person will consider that you've been used by so many other people because it is use. You have been used and you are using somebody. And I'm not too sure many would willingly want to now settle down because they may ask themselves, have you really stopped situationing? Or are you going to still continue to be in a situationship after they get married? I figure it will have some serious. Hey, Kimberly from Jamaica, Linseed, Church of Christ in the house. Hey, wonderful. Welcome. Come in. Yes, nice having you. So he says 62% of people are disappointed. They also say 49% of people put their status as being in a situation. 49%. That's almost 50% of people don't even have a stable relationship. And just as how you are unstable emotionally, you are going to be unstable psychologically, and you're going to be unstable in a relationship. Yeah. Yes, Kathleen, used and overused goods. In school, we used to say used, abused, and refused. So until we start to get back a sense of self, until we start getting back appreciating and valuing who we are, it is only then that we can give to somebody else value. So when we have to be in these kind of situations and justify it, what is it you really bring into a serious relationship after? If you are looking for a serious man, you're looking for a serious woman, you really think a serious man and a serious woman want somebody who has been living a life of situationship? You really think so? I have my doubts. I seriously have my doubts. Of course you'll get a man. Of course you'll get a woman, but a serious one, I doubt that. I really doubt. All right. So the poll question, make sure that you answer the poll question. Do you agree with a situationship? And tell me if you could tell me why you don't agree with it. So we're looking for you to give your opinion on the chat there. Why don't you agree with the situationship? What is wrong with it? I've heard people justify it, says that you don't have to put up with the person's issues and you can be able to have a friend and enjoy yourself. Life is not about the happy hour. Life is not all about enjoying yourself. Life has to be relational. Life is relational. And if you don't know how to build good, healthy relationships, it will haunt you later on. And a number of people in these situationships will find themselves when they're ready and they're beginning to age and they want to settle down, they can't settle down. They can't find love. They don't know what love is. They don't know what it feels like. They don't know what it looks like. They don't know what the experience of love is like because they have not opened their heart to love all their life. Can't find it suddenly. That doesn't come overnight. You have to be love. You have to be loving. You have to become a love. You can't depend upon just finding somebody and now decide, I'm going to turn the switch called love on. Never happen. Okay, so having said that, I want to use some of the time that we have left now for you to just share with us some of the topics that you may have remembered from the past. Your own feelings about the mic and night. Tonight is our last. What do you genuinely think? If you don't like the program, say so. If you don't like the time, the program, say so. If you don't like the format, the program, say so. If you like it, say so. Just give me don't try to stroke my ego. uh I don't need this show, but I want to get your candid view on it. And if you have topics for next year, I want you to share them with us, please. Yeah. So for those of you who don't want to write, you could press the love sign, the the hearts that they have down below. You could just press the hearts and let me see that you what your feeling is for the program. I don't know if you have the upside down finger. If you don't like it, thumbs down. Aha. Yeah. All right. So while you're sharing that on the Facebook, let's go to a break and then we'll be right back.
Don't let the weather of the day dictate your pace. I stayed cool every time I got into my vehicle, and you can too. At Tow School Center of 31 Gaskin Bay Road, Bonaccord, they specialize in auto air conditioning with parts and services catering to your car's needs. Call and ask for tows at 660-8777 or 788-3535. Tow School Center, where a comfortable ride is a cool ride.
Hey, if you are having difficulty in your marriage or in your relationship and you need someone to speak with privately and confidentially, then call me, Michael Stewart. We can do face to face or virtually any part of the world. If your relationship is worth saving, call 868-688-5363 or go to my website www.michaeletstewart.com. Don't wait until it's too late. Get counseling. Okay, welcome back. Thank you very much for sticking around. Thank you for being here with us. And we had just gone to the break. We said that we wanted to share with us your own thoughts on the program, the time, any topic that you remember. Could you remember any topic from the past that remained with you? I see Elon said he doesn't like the 8 p.m. time. Elon, is that too early for you? You think that you're busy during the time or it's too late for you? You're like foul, you're going into bed at 6 o'clock. Charmin says, I love the program and the new time. All right, so that's Charmin. Love the lesson. Doreen says, Lyndon says he loves the program. Wonderful. Nicely. I think last week we did fubbing. A number of people said they never heard of fubbing before. Fubbing is phone snubbing. While somebody's talking to you, you have your phone in your hand. Talking on your phone or you're writing stuff on the phone. I have worked on it. I have been working on that. And I am more conscious of it now. And not only that, but people now even more point it out to me ever since I brought the program to the fore. So it is also helping me to work harder on reducing my fubbing. Phubbing. Fubbing. I hope that you all remember that. And we did some other topics sometime in the past. We did, let me see if I could find some of the topics that we did. We did 5 steps to mending relationships and women to avoid in relationships. And we also spoke about men to avoid in relationships. Of course, you know, that brought some its own measure of attraction and discussion. Yeah. All right. So share with me. Let me hear what you think about the program. Yep. Today is the last one. The next one is going to be in 2023, God's willing. We will give you the date. We'll probably promote it on the Facebook. We don't have a date. It would be about the 3rd or 4th week in the new year that we will start it. It will be on the Thursday as we. Okay. All right. So if not, you just press the hearts there for me. Let me just get the hearts up going. Glenda says you remember toxic relationship. Yes, we did deal with that. The relationships that are really, really bad to you. And one of the toxic relationship, you could tell you in a toxic relationship. So continue to tell me on Facebook what you think about the program and some of the topics you remember. Um, the toxic relationship. If you are in a relationship that you feel abused, then you are in a toxic relationship. And I'm not just talking about physically abuse, where the person is hitting you. If the person is definitely hitting you, you are really in a toxic relationship and you need to make some decision. If the person is verbally abusing you, then you are also in a toxic relationship. If you are being emotionally abused, where your emotion is being taken for granted, your emotion is always being always taking a hit, you are in a toxic relationship. And some people, they give you enough in the relationship for you to want to stay, but they abuse you enough that you want to leave. So today you're going to tell yourself, you see me, I'm leaving, I can't stay in this relationship. But by the time you make up your mind to leave, they are nice enough to keep. And that is abuse. They're abusing you emotionally. Patty says, I miss a few, but I love the program. I enjoyed last week. The time is fine. Okay. Right. So that's the toxic relationship that we spoke about. Yeah, Elon said he remember the one woman to stay away from. Anybody who burn my skin by lashing me, I will strike right back. Well, I ain't too sure about the strike back here because some people tried to fight back and it did not end well. If you leave the relationship, I think you have a better option. The fact that you don't want to fight fire with fire in that case. Elon said women to stay away from. There are some women to stay away from. There are some gold diggers. They are only in the relationship for what they could get materially. Some of them want your house. Some of them want your money. They want you to pay for their way through life. That is true. And we also spoke about the men to stay away from. There are some men who know how to say the right things to melt your heart. They don't love you. Don't think because he's saying the right things that he loves you. Men are taught to hunt, and they hunt well. We hunt well. Don't get yourself carried away that the hunt is the manifestation of how good the person is going to be. Now, after the hunt is over, you will likely see how that person is. So sometimes the man, all he's after is sex. And if you check the number of women who are not in a stable relationship with the man they made their first child for, you'll understand why. Because soon after, um, once the man gets what he wants, he ghosts you. You know what I mean by ghost you? He disappears like a ghost. He's now busy. He didn't hear his phone ring. His phone was out of zone. He didn't realize it was on silent. He's ghosting you. He got what he wanted already. Anybody, yeah, that's the truth. So there are some men to stay away from. Some men who can't control their anger, stay away from them. Especially if you corner them in a conversation and they are found lying and they can't handle the fact that they are found out, they're going to come out lashing. Right? So you have both men and women that you need to stay away from. Any other topic that you remember? Joy, good evening. You'll join late. Yeah. All right. We just have a few more minutes. I really wanted to hear some of it. Um, I'm looking. Did we remember we dealt with one with why some people are still single and some of the issues when people are single for too long? We dealt with that. I hope you remember that. Let me tell you about that one, because I felt that was a very an interesting one as to why. So when people are single for too long, and one of the things we said is that when a person is single for too long, they are stuck in their ways. They become almost like a shoe print in cement. They are there for good. They pack things in a certain way. They get up at a certain time. They do things a certain way. They've been single for so long. It's hard to get into a relationship with that person because they are not willing to change a lot of the things that they have started doing routinely. They are uncompromising. They would expect you to fit into theirs. They are not going to fit into yours. That's a rough one. Two, the conversation is very limited because they will talk to you about the things that they want to talk to you about. They have so much on their mind and they can afford to talk to you and don't even wait to hear your response. So sometimes if it is, let's say, that they are in a career, they want to talk about their career. They'll want to talk about things that they do at home and so on. Because they don't have somebody sharing with. They have been single for so long, they have not been sharing. That they decide once they are there with you, that they share everything with you that they have on their mind and their heart. You don't get a chance to share much. And some of the discussion might not be so exciting, might be a boring discussion for in the mind of some people. Yeah. So those are two of the things when you're single for too long. And thirdly, when you're single for too long, the person sometimes become a recluse. They don't feel like mixing because they don't. Everybody else is going out with other people. They have been single and they don't want to be a third wheel and so on. So they stay home a lot, and even in staying home a lot, they become frustrated in staying home a lot, and that brings its own depression, its own sadness, its own withdrawn mentality because of being single. All right. Let me, if you could give one more and then we're going to call that a day. Yeah. Let me see one of the others. Oh, we dealt with behaviors that destroy relationships. We're going to, that one was a good one where we talk about the things that destroy relationships. Um, One is your anger, a person's anger, and I think that is such a biggie. Some people just can't control their when they don't agree with something, the way they behave, and that anger that comes out and makes the other person feel abused. So that's one, but also a person's personality. There are some people need a personality makeover. Their personality is really, really poor. While you have some people with some very nice personality. And what is amazing is that you'll have somebody in a relationship, one with a very bad personality, very bad attitude, and that person is in a relationship with somebody with such a nice, caring, charming personality. How in heaven's name that happen? Then they say opposites attract. So anger happens to be one. The Another thing that destroys relationship is the technology, video game, cell phone, TV. There are some people, if you don't post their name on Facebook or post a picture on your page with them, they feel you don't love them. They equate your posting of them to love. June, you're now coming in when we're now finishing. You forgot you are 1 hour ahead of us. Uh, yes, yes. Yeah. I hope you recover from that accident. I am very happy that you came out unscathed, but sad the way the person who dented you responded. What a bad display of humanity. Veronica, good evening to you. Right. So another area that destroys relationship is the inability to communicate appropriately. Inability to communicate appropriately. Some say nothing, some say too much. Some say things too harsh in the under the guise of they are outspoken, but their harshness is a means that they use to insult, embarrass, and belittle you under the pretext of being outspoken. And nobody likes to be embarrassed in front of others. I think that even in relationship, we need to learn to be able to communicate with a person in such a way that in front of other people, we can afford to hide our issue. That's not being a hypocrite. That is being civil. You see me, if something on my mind, I have to say it. No, that is being hoggish. Being civil means that at this point in time, it is inappropriate for me to deal with certain matters because we are in company of fine company. And so therefore I will hold this until later. And you deal with that in private. Not everything you have to deal with outside there. Understand? So you don't have to be hoggish and bawl about you being so frank and outspoken and straightforward and so on. That has nothing to do with being frank, outspoken, and straightforward. Cowardly, because the person might not be as open to respond to you as you would like. So it is intimidatory. Just deal with it in private. And some people just need to take it down. Come down from there. Take it down. You understand me? Let's just be nice in relationships. And so this is what I want to say as we go into 2023. Let's be nice, people. Nice is nice. Being nice to people affords us to be able to build greater relationships. You cannot get from one stage of your life to the next except somebody facilitates you into that next phase. God would not come down from heaven and just push you into the next phase of your life or into a next opportunity or give you another situation. It's because of somebody in your life. Many of the things that I've experienced in life is because of somebody that I have known or who knows me. And so therefore you are able to now move from one stage to the next. You cannot do it without good relationships. And the more good relationships you get, more opportunities open to you. Close those doors and you are limiting your own opportunities because God has placed people around us in various status of life, various spheres of life and spheres of influence in order to usher us into opportunities. Do not insult, destroy, slash, and burn those relationships because somebody who you think is your enemy today might be the one who saves you and gives you an opportunity tomorrow. Right. Joseph, good night. You're here with Joan. Hey, all right. Hey, Joe. Hey, my goodness. Joe is the first time I'm hearing you on, man. Nicely. Good to see you. All right, the poll. The question is, do you believe that a situationship is a better option than a formal relationship? 0% said yes. 77% said no, and 23% said they're not sure. Yeah, that's it. All right, so that's it, people. We'll see you next year. Make sure you end this year good. Make sure you end this year alive and go into 2023 better and go into it not surviving, but living. My name is Michael Stewart, and this is Mike at Night. I want to thank Sydney Jones for being such an awesome director for the entire program and being able to keep us live on air. All of you great people, love you all. God bless you.
day dictate your pace, I stayed cool every time I got into my vehicle, and you can too. At Tow School Center of 31 Gaskin Bay Road, Bonaccord, they specialize in auto air conditioning with parts and services catering to your car's needs. Call and ask for tows at 660-8777 or 788-3535. Tow School Center, where a comfortable ride is a cool ride.
Hey, if you are having difficulty in your marriage or in your relationship and you need someone to speak with privately and confidentially, then call me, Michael Stewart. We can do face-to-face or virtually any part of the world. If your relationship is worth saving, call 868-688-5363 or go to my website www.michaelstewart.com. Don't wait until it's too late. Get counseling.